Thank you for tuning in to NC CAP's STEM Snap, where we try to make STEM lessons easy for you. The first thing that we're going to do today is kinetic cars. Kinetic cars, there are all kinds of ways to make them. Many of them are annoying and some of them do not work. So we're going to show you some materials that are quick, easy, simple, and that will enhance your students' learning. The very first thing that you need to know is that for safety issues, there are a couple of things that you might want to keep in mind. For your younger kids, hot glue can be an issue. Duct tape can be a good substitute. But for the wheels themselves, that is the biggest challenge. So today what we're going to look at is how this car incorporates different aspects of the curriculum, which include potential and kinetic energy, and also simple machines, which are things like wheels and axles, a lever, and a pulley, all of which are incorporated in this compound machine, which can help kids learn a little bit more about Newton's laws, which are a body in motion stays in motion unless acted upon by an outside force. And all of these different Newtonian laws, they will be able to experiment with their car. Now, here's the easy thing to do. First of all, lids. You can make all kinds of cars with all kinds of lids, but what we found work best are these little sports bottle lids that have a hole inside in which the glue can adhere to. You need 4 of these. The other thing that is helpful are bamboo skewers. You need 2. I've cut these. This first one is about 10 inches long. This second one is 6 inches long. This is the rear axle. This is the front axle. To build the frame of the car, you're going to use popsicle sticks. You only need 3, but sometimes it's handy to have 4. What we're going to do is we're going to make the frame of the car in a letter A. And I've broken off the tip of this one so that it's not sticking out too far because it might hit your wheels. You also need a straw. And we're going to cut these straws into small segments so that what they do is they provide a place for the axle to attach to the frame of the car. And then the last thing, these 2 things may save your life. This is an adhesive hook with a back, and they usually come in a collection of about 8 to 10. They're about $1, and they don't bend, and they're really easy for kids to glue. The second one, this is from a picture hanger. I don't know if you can see this, but it's a little eyelet with a screw on the end of it. And it's real small, it's real easy, and again, it's easy to glue, so that way little fingers don't get burned or frustrated. Finally, you're going to need some rubber bands. This is from a bunch of broccoli, and these grocery store rubber bands work really well to put tread on your tires. The other ones, and so these, you'll need 2 of these for the rear tires. And if you don't have broccoli rubber bands, a thicker diameter rubber band will work just fine. And then finally, a little bit larger rubber band, and you can experiment with different sizes, lengths, and diameters to see which ones your kids enjoy. So this is what we're going to do really quick. So the first thing that you're going to do is build the frame. Hot glue, letter A. At the tip and about a little more than halfway down, so it looks like letter A, you're going to put 3 little bits of glue. The first one at the top, and then the second one for the support. Letter A. Now, if it's not straight, your car will go crooked, and that will annoy your children. Letter A. The next thing that you're going to do while this is cooling is you're going to put the straw segments. But before you do that, so you don't get annoyed, take your wheel axle and then look at the distance across the bottom of the frame. And you want it to stick out so that it's about 2 inches long. And then you'll have a partner one that's very similar. These are your rear axle connectors. And then one long one in the front. This one in the front is going to be about twice as long as the others. Now you've got the front letter A at the very tip. You're going to put some glue, and on the very tip, you're going to roll this in so that it's straight. The way that you can tell that it's straight is by putting your axle through it. Make sure it's straight. Okay? And then if you want to press it down, that tip comes in handy to squash, so that way it doesn't burn your fingers. Now we're going to put the rear ones on. Again, you want to make sure that it's straight, because if it's not, then your axle won't go through it. So put your axle through to test it. Straighten out your straws so they're in a straight line with the glue. Roll it if you need to. Reapply. There's no such thing as not enough glue, or as too much glue, actually, I guess. Squash it down. Pull the axle out. You all see that? Okay, next thing that you're going to do is the hook. Peel off the back of the adhesive hook. Stick it facing down on right underneath your straw. Okay? The next thing that you're going to do are the wheels. Set this aside. The wheels are fun. Take your lid, make sure it's pressed shut, fill it with glue. A lot of glue. Again, no such thing as too much glue. Stick your axle through, make sure it's perpendicular and sticking up straight. Now, you're going to need to do the other different front axle too, because if you don't, then you won't be able to test your cart and make it go straight. So do the front axle as well. Oh, I need more glue. Stick this in. I'm going to put it down in there pretty tight. You can twirl it if you need to. All right, now we're going to slide this through. Slide your back axle through. Stop a minute. Your brass ring in between, and your second wheel. The important thing that you need to know is that the wheel itself, the wheel and axle need to be firm, and then the wheels themselves don't turn, the axle turns. And our front wheel. Again, pushing that in pretty firmly. Now you're going to want to test it. So you've got your wheels. Does it move? It does. It's not perfect, so you want your glue. Squash, put some pressure on your glue so that they're perpendicular and so that they don't break. Should it break, pull it out, slide it over, stick it in again. That's the beauty of starting with a longer axle. Works just fine. Now, flip it over. secure your brass ring in the middle of your axle with some glue. And it's time to put the tread on your tires, back tires, which are wider. This one does not want to stick. Now, if your wheel is wobbling like this one is, the fix for that is more glue, twist it, and put it down in there a little bit more. The rubber band works like this. Take your hand and pull it through in that shape, and that's what you're doing around the back axle. Around the top, pull it through. Let's use the longer one. Reach it to the top. Now, winding it to make it go. This should probably, we're going to let this set like a cooking show because the glue will make it fall apart. This one's put together the exact same way. What you're going to do when you wind and make it go is you catch this part with the brass ring right here. You're going to want to wind it backwards. And that's your potential energy. And then when you let it go, that's your kinetic energy.